Hey there again, folks. Welcome back to Remember11, the Age of Infinity. Okay, I'm going to start off. I'm going to start doing this every other day because I'm not going to be able to keep it up every day like I've been wanting to do. It's just not going to happen. Just not have been feeling very healthy lately, and even though I do feel like playing some video games, doing commentary, doing the face cam when you're not feeling good, when you're I feel like doing kind of hygiene, like I haven't shaved in I almost said years, weeks, months, October, yeah, months, going on 6. So yeah, that's something that if I had less here, that wouldn't be such a big deal. Wouldn't mind having kind of a really awesome beard, but yeah, stuff like that. Kind of makes it the face cam thing kind of the weird thing on this one, and so yeah, every other day. So this game will be finished eventually. If I try to do it every day, it's still not gonna. So yeah, I'm just gonna space them out, and hopefully be able to finish this game by May or June, because I do want to get to Hatful Boyfriend and Long Live the Queen. Games I'm really looking forward to. I think I'm going to start doing some random games, some random visual novels that I don't think I'll ever do series of. So look forward to that if that's up your alley. Okay, let's get on to it. They were Satoru was looking at the cameras on what he had missed when he was in Kokoro last time. What he missed when he was in Kokoro. That's a weird sentence. So yeah, he wasn't liking what he was seeing. They ran into Uni's room hand in hand, taking no notice of their disappearance. My body only slipped further and further into his own rampage. It was almost as if my body was trying to validate its own existence, as it was clumsily trying to assert itself. My body loved this world, but hated it at the same time. My body was playing with the world. My body screamed out loud, and it whelped. Then it whelped. My body was struggling as if it was doing all it could to destroy this world. And eventually, my body exhausted itself and slept. This is definitely very, striking me as very childlike. Yeah. Daniel asked me to kind of mention what in an organized way, what I thought about the whole personality exchange so far. I'm shifting the folders around in my brain. I don't know. Honestly, don't know. I mean, like I said, he's definitely seeming a lot like a baby. And there was the that one scene where it was in between the switching places. He pretty much showed like an ultrasound thing. And one of the things that I alluded to in a video, and it was crazy, so I didn't mention it. Though I don't know why that would stop me, because I say so many crazy and random things already. But kind of the picture when they change, I don't know, for whatever reason, made me think of like an ultrasound. I don't know why, because when I went back and looked at it, it was like that didn't look exactly the way I thought it did. But yeah. That whole Hattori, I'm not really sure what the deal is with her. Unless maybe... Actually, I really don't know. If I remember right... I forgot to go back and look at that video. Daniel mentioned something about what the body did in Kokoro's route. I remember, I think she breathed. breathe the bro the broth the seemed like she did that, so she's not dead. I'm pretty sure. So maybe when Kokoro. See, I still don't know really though. That's a confusing thing. I really don't know. Unless Satori is, well, yeah, I really don't know. Because Tori doesn't seem like she's very confused when she's. Oh, but wait, she'd be over there though. But wait, what? Okay, seriously, I don't know. So I'm just gonna keep going because that's what happens when you ask me to do stuff in an organized manner. People normally don't ask me to be very organized. In Itsumi's bosom. Itsumi seemed to pity my body, but at the same time, she seemed to love it as well. With the warmth, she forgave everything, accepted everything with the magnanimity of a goddess. Magnanimity. Oh my gosh. Now it's Kokoro, Itsumi, Satoru. Magnanimity. Magnanimity. Okay. Actually, magnanimity. Okay, I'm moving on. Or at least that's how the images on the screen made me feel. I did actually go to speech class as a kid, so maybe that's not so shocking. My body was sleeping in Itsumi's embrace, peacefully, as if dozing beneath the early spring sunlight. There wasn't a hint of the disgraceful behavior from the moment before. Itsumi held my body to her chest with the half-closed eyes of the Virgin Mary and an artless smile on her face. Now, one thing that I've actually been thinking about is if a personality thing is happening. If maybe Keiko's is breaking into different ones and going into different people, possibly. But yeah, it's the only other thing I could think of. Because there was a baby, or was it a kid, said one of her personalities was. The clear blue sky stretched out above me. A freezing wind blew around me as it whistled along the ground. I breathed in a lungful of fresh air and savored its piercing chill. Monday, January 16, 2012. Present time, 7:49 a.m. Everything is gradually coming to an end. The proposition I called R, some parts of it still remain unanswered. But I have no time to deal with them one by one. For now, I've got to concentrate on breaking free from the space-time transfer phenomenon as fast as possible. According to Inamoto, the space-time transfer only affects the area within a 110-meter radius. Every single thing within that area, between location A in the past and location B in the future, changes place during the space-time transfer phenomenon. But for some reason, only Kokoro's and my own consciousness remain behind. Whenever the transfer occurs, we lose our bodies. I'd say, I guess it'd be better to lose your body than lose your mind, but yeah, maybe that doesn't make sense. Maybe I've lost it. I definitely have a body. So I guess out of the two, the most likely one would be my mind that I've lost. Then a consciousnesses lost without their containers were forced to possess an available vessel as an emergency countermeasure. Myself and Kokoro's body and Kokoro and mine. Therefore, in order to put a stop to this phenomenon, simply had to escape the affected area. If I left the circle, my body would no longer be transported to the Mount Akakura of the past, thus ending the phenomenon. Of course, nothing would happen to my consciousness either. Same goes for Kokoro. Since the alternative vessel, my body won't jump to Mount Akakura, her consciousness should stay put. Providing that everything Inamoto told me was the truth. Well, there's nothing I can do but believe him. So then what happens now? Let a space-time transfer occur while I'm out of reach, then Kokoro's consciousness would be transported to Aosagi Island inside her own body. In other words, no more personality transfers. And just like Yomogi and the others, she jumped through time with her mind and body intact. The shelter cabin of 2011 would appear on the Aosagi Island in 2012. After that, I, who remained outside of the circle, would march into the shelter cabin, collect Kokoro, Yomogi, Lin, Uni, and lead them out of the circle. As a result, they'd all end up in the future, but this isn't the time to be picky. If they remained in the shelter cabin any longer, they'd all get caught up in the avalanche and die, just as history dictated. Their lives hang in the balance. A little time leap is trivial against the weight of a human life. But that all of my objectives on Mount Akakura would be taken care of in one fell swoop. Now what about things at SPHIA? Yesterday the uni at the shelter cabin told me this.
次の転移が発生するのは17日の午前4時48分なんだ。だからその時までに。
Until then what? The transfer decided to occur right at the most important moment, so I didn't get to hear the rest. I think you probably meant to say until then you have to do something, or something along those lines. But I hadn't a clue what it was I was supposed to be doing. It couldn't have meant get everyone in SPHIA out of the circle, could he? Sumi and Uni are no problem, but there's no way I can just let a psychotic murderer who killed 12 people go free. With that said, if this transfer phenomenon isn't going to end in the near future, then leaving the three of them behind in SPHIA isn't a good idea either. In any case, I still had time until then. Until that moment comes, I decided to refrain from doing anything careless. Drew another deep breath of fresh air into my lungs. My exhalation sparkled white before vanishing with the wind. Inspected Tsumi, Hattori, and Uni's rooms. Nothing was particularly out of place. It was already past 8, yet all three of them were still sound asleep. Stood in the middle of the living area. Voluntarily mouthed those words as I surveyed the decimated room. It's kind of weird. They've probably done this before, but it's one of the few times where they've actually had the main character out there. Why would Fuyakawa Kokoro do such a thing? For her to be pushed this far, something terrible must have happened. The trigger was probably that conversation with Uni. Right in the middle of the conversation, Kokoro, my body had suddenly attacked Uni. Those events had been clearly recorded. I'd seen the video last night in that small underground room. What in the world did Uni say to her? Looked down at the shattered glass and shook my head. At any rate, Fuyakawa Kokoro's latent violent side had revealed itself. She's more than likely the one who brutally stabbed Inamoto to death too. It's probably a certain trigger for her violent outbursts. When that set her off, she'd lose all control, and an insane personality would suddenly take over. Maybe Uni mentioned something about a bunny. Maybe she was so freaked out when she watched Monty Python and the Holy Grail that she just can't stand bunnies anymore, and she just goes into a violent rampage when she hears or sees something about a bunny. Maybe that's when she was trying to draw one earlier. She snapped between the thing. Did she snap? Did something happen between that? I don't think it was. It was just a transfer, wasn't it? Did something happen between then? I don't remember. Oh well. Something in the back of my mind was nagging at me. But I didn't know what it was. Anyway, I decided to ask Uni about that talk with Kokoro once he woke up. Having more or less made up my mind, I returned to my room. At that point, I noticed something in the corner of the room. A scrunched up scrap of paper. I picked it up and unfolded it. Crude and familiar handwriting, a message from Kokoro. A message I had yet to read had been inscribed there. It's Kokoro. There's something strange going on with your body. Oh my gosh. There was this intense swelling sensation, and I was like, do I need to put ice on it? Is it gonna die? Is Satoru die? What happened? Did someone make you take poison? Please tell me. Even just a little is fine, so tell me. I don't want to die. I don't want you to die either, Satoru. What should I do? What should I do to help? I'm scared. I'm very, very scared. have no idea why this is happening. I don't even know what will happen 5 minutes from now. I don't know who I can believe in either. Hey Satoru, I want to meet you. Even a single glance is fine, but I want to meet you. As the one reflected in the mirror isn't you, it's me. I want to meet the you that's really you. Because there's no one I can believe in but you, Satoru. I want you to tell me that everything's alright. I want you to tell me that there's nothing to worry about. Remember her writing that, yeah. Judging from the contents, she must have written this last night while the DMT was racking my body. The ink had blurred here and there. It swollen and then dried, creating ripples, tear stains. I touched them with my fingertips. Her fear, her hopelessness, her sadness, they all permeated through my fingers. Something ached deep within my chest. What was happening to her right now? Yesterday, outside the shelter cabin, Yomogi and Lin had chased after a helicopter. From the markings on it, I'd guess it was a self-defense force helicopter. It just happened to pass over the skies of the Aosagi Island of 2012. Of course, they had no way of knowing that. They were convinced it was the rescue team, so they chased after it. That's probably the best chance I had to bring them out of the circle. However, just before we reached the edge of the circle, a transfer. What happened to them after that? Did they stand there dumbfounded, staring blankly up at the empty sky? Well, something like that. If a helicopter were to suddenly vanish like that, you couldn't help but doubt your own eyes. What happened? Did they give up and return to the shelter cabin, or...
Masaka.
Did they continue chasing the helicopter and leave the circle of Mount Akakura?
ないな。それはない。
According to history, they should be caught up in an avalanche at location X early on the morning of the 17th. Whatever the circumstances, they couldn't have spent an entire day wandering around in the snow only to turn up at location X, right? Even if one of them had suggested it, as long as they had a pro-mountaineer like Yomogi with them, I don't think they'd do such a reckless thing. And even if they did leave the circle, they should have returned to the shelter cabin by now. That's what I believed. Moreover, the helicopter was flying west in the first place. On the contrary, location X was... Just to be safe, I took the magazine out from under the mattress. Opened it to the feature on the
やっぱ
crash.
りそうか。
According to the rough map on this page, location X, where the bodies were discovered, was to the east of the shelter cabin. Here's a question. Was the helicopter within range? Because that'd been crazy if it swapped and then the helicopter... There's an interesting side story for this game. The helicopter pilot also got put back a year in the crowd or in the future. No, in the past. Satoru in 2012, so he would have been to 2011. Yeah, that would have been crazy. If that's what happened to the helicopter pilot, he got put back a year and then he turned up. Everybody thought he was crazy, but then he turned up and there was actually another him, and that's a whole nother game in itself right there. This means they'd have to backtrack in order to reach location X. There's no reason they'd go out of their way to reach location X. Yeah, they must have returned to the shelter cabin. They must have. Had no way of knowing for sure, so all I could do was hope for the best. Working to convince myself, I flipped through the pages of the magazine. Well, here's the question. They're trying to change history. Why is he not noticing the fact that maybe a helicopter from the future may have possibly altered them winding up in another place? Unless he's assuming that that's what happened in the last year. But then he would have been there as well. Okay, you know what? Let's not go in that circle. At the end of the article, there was a list of all the crash victims, the full names of all 31 people on board. Fuyikawa Kokoro, Yomogi Seiji, Mayuzumi Lin, and Kusada Uni. The names were all there. There was another name I knew well, Suzukage Hattori-san, 19.
鈴鹿ね。ほとり。
I unintentionally spoke out loud. But if I thought about it calmly, then there wasn't much to be surprised about. It's completely normal for Tsuzukage Hattori to be on the list. I found her body within the circle of the shelter cabin after all. Somewhere buried under the thick snow on Mount Okakura, I saw her cold body with my own two eyes. Well, with Kokoro's eyes, but then why was she out there? No need to think about it. Tsuzukage Hattori was one of the passengers on Flight HAL 18. From the lightweight clothes she was wearing, I'm guessing she wasn't planning on scaling Mount Okakura. Assuming so. Her name was printed there anyway. She probably survived the crash somehow, found herself alone in the midst of a blizzard like the refugees at the shelter cabin, and began wandering around. Searching for help, searching for one place. But a lone woman under those conditions couldn't have been that strong, and with those clothes, there's no way she could have endured the snowstorm. Sometime after finally setting foot inside the circle, all her strength deserted her and she collapsed. Time passed, and on January 17th, she was discovered by the rescue team. Her corpse was retrieved just like those of the other victims. I don't think I'm far from the truth. That's what happened to the body of Tsuzukage Hattori. Normally her death would be something to mourn, but an abnormal phenomenon was at work here. That is, a space-time transfer. Unless I messed up, Tsuzukage Hattori isn't dead yet. She's alive. She's just borrowing the body of Inubushi Keiko. In short, this is how it went. But she's answering to Hattori. Doesn't she? I mean, but she knows she's not in the right body. And it seemed like Kokoro mentioned something about it being in her file. Tsuzukage Hattori. Didn't she? Or am I remembering wrong? I might be remembering wrong, but it seemed like that, so. Interesting if somehow she was in the same boat as Uni, who repeated the same year. So she has been in the body for a year and waiting for the moment where maybe she can go back or something. I don't know. Maybe she's just acting like she's crazy. Yeah, I'm in the body of a crazy person. Woo! Stabby stab. You want to be stabbed? And she's waiting for a chance to go back to her original body. I don't know. Tsuzukage Hattori's body was already inside the circle, lying in the snowfield. However, she wasn't dead. She was still breathing, if just barely. As in a transfer, Tsuzukage Hattori's consciousness was separated from her body. I'm not sure why, but when you consider that Kokoro and I are in the very same situation, it's not unthinkable. This is my consciousness entered Kokoro's body, and Kokoro's consciousness entered my body. Tsuzukage Hattori's consciousness entered Inubushi Keiko's body. It goes without saying that Inubushi Keiko's body must have been deserted, an empty vessel at the time. Therefore, logic would dictate that Inubushi Keiko must have been separated from her body as well. In Kokoro's body, Kokoro and my body, Inubushi and Hattori's body, Hattori and Inubushi's body. After transfer, things continued like that for 33 minutes, during which Inubushi Keiko probably passed away. She's able to communicate and act when Kokoro was there, so that doesn't fully make sense. Unless here's a crazy thought. What if Utsumi really is pregnant? I mentioned that before. Sometimes, from some angles, it looks like she is. What if she was pregnant and the personality of the baby went into Keiko, the personality of Keiko? went into the baby. So what if Itsumi eventually gives birth to the killer she was seeking to kill? And also the murder of her previous child. Whoa, that'd be a drama. That would be a sci-fi drama right there. I gave birth to you, but you were the murderer of my child. I also once sought to kill you. What do I do? Actually be kind of interesting. Quite a bit out there, but kind of interesting too. It's not related. I need to keep moving. I don't think that's the case. I think I'm probably really stretching, but it's a random idea. Trapped another person's body. She died. Yeah, the baby's personality wouldn't be able to. Even if it couldn't talk, it wouldn't be able to write either. So yeah, that cancels that out. But there's no reason to assume she died during the first 33-minute period. The second, the third, or the fourth. It could have been any of those, or any of the early transfers. The result would have been the same. Anyway, Inabushi Keiko's consciousness met its death while in Suzukage Hitori's body. Judging from the corpse I saw yesterday, I'm certain it's been a while since she died. She couldn't have held out for more than a few hours in a blizzard dress like that. In July 2009, Inabushi Keiko murdered 12 innocent people, one of whom was Junichi-kun. In the frigid snow, unable to move so much as move a finger, she died. Couldn't help but feel it was a fitting end for her. So then what happened to Suzukage Hitori after she transported into Inabushi's body? Since she lost a body on another side, her original body, that served as a counterpart in the exchanges, Hitori had no vessel to transfer into. If that vessel disappeared from the circle, her consciousness wouldn't separate from it. Meaning from that point on, Hitori hasn't experienced any personality transfers, which brings us here. She has, so that doesn't make any sense. Most likely unless... What if okay, here's an idea. I'm end of episode, because my throat's... I need some water. That helps, but I'm gonna go get me some water in a few seconds. What if it was one personality who died? What if it was one of the many personalities inside of her? Or what if it was all of them except her base one? Yeah, that would be a possibility. Hitori comes in and all of them but her base one scoots out and goes into that body and dies. But it's not dead because we remembered it breathing though in the last one. Yeah, that's a thought too, though. Because I mean, personalities change, multiple personality. So yeah, that would be a possible thing. Anyway, that's me done rambling for 30 minutes. So I do sincerely hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one. Farewell there.